and welcome to a WWE discussion. I'm your host and WWE Tuesdays, Dougie Doug. In today's episode, I'm going to be discussing Friday Night Smackdown, August 25th, 2023 edition. In this episode of Smackdown, well, it had to change plans in a way, kind of had to shift the focus. The unfortunate news came earlier this, I think it was yesterday, Thursday, that Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda had unfortunately passed away, and I think there's been enough said. I think everybody who watched WWE, who watches WWE, who's watched Bray Wyatt, everybody kind of felt that loss. You know, he had an impact on so many people, and ultimately I'm just thankful that I got to watch him, and thankful for all that he did for WWE and for the fans. And thank you, Bray. And with that, we'll go ahead and get right into the action, starting with a non-title match, Rey Mysterio versus Grayson Waller. And this was a solid competitive match that saw Mysterio in control until Austin Theory interrupted, and then Santos Escobar would attempt to make the save, but I don't think that quite worked out how he entirely envisioned. The action broke down, outside influences impacted the match, but Mysterio would still score the win. After the match, there was a stare down between the LWO, Theory, and Waller, and that was basically hinting at a tag team match that would later on the show be confirmed for next week. Mysterio and Escobar taking on Theory and Waller. Also announced was a U.S. title match at Payback between Theory and Mysterio. Expect that to be a solid match that could end with Theory regaining a title that probably should have been lost in the first place. We'll see how that one plays out. If Theory ends up winning again, expect LA Knight to become the next challenger for that title and then take it from him. WWE Women's Championship match, Vega versus Skye. And the women's division is in good hands with Skye as its champion on Friday nights, as evidenced by her first title defense against Vega. They put on a fun, energetic title belt that demonstrated how good the champion is and how underrated an in-ring worker Vega is. Damage Control retains its control over the division, but Vega proved that she is a legitimate contender and somebody who should be in the title scene more consistently, especially given the fan reaction to her. Terry Funk Hardcore Tag Team match, the Brawling Brutes versus the Street Profits, and the match was hard-hitting and physical, but not quite hardcore, at least not like not Terry Funk-esque hardcore, which is to be expected. WWE does a more tame version of hardcore, so there might not have been any chairs and ladders, but there was at least a table. But then again, I think the argument can be made that this match didn't really necessarily need all these bells and whistles. It was still a good match with two great tag teams. Street Profits pick up a win and continue their momentum and their partnership with Bobby Lashley. I think we can expect more of this from the Street Profits as they build to whatever the finished product will be. And if this feud should continue, it's not the worst thing. It's not the best thing, but not the worst thing. And then the main events. Fitting main event here. The last guy Bray Wyatt faced in WWE in a match was LA Knight. And then when Bray Wyatt debuted The Fiend, he debuted against Finn Balor. So this was your main event, LA Knight versus Finn Balor. And the match was a solid pro wrestling match that highlighted Knight and allowed him to score a definitive win over a former Universal Champion. Before the match, there was a tribute to Wyatt from Knight, a promo on The Miz ahead of their match at Payback, which is official, and the crowd's reaction to all of it came together to result in what was a significant segment for LA Knight in terms of kind of previewing what he might look like as a potential main event star. He was the guy in this episode, and the crowd accepted him in that role, even under the difficult circumstances surrounding the broadcast. On a tough night, he rose to the occasion, and that is something that the powers that be most likely took notice of. So in conclusion, tough night, not just for WWE, but for all of its fans. The man and woman who took the squared circle Friday night did so with heavy hearts, still processing the passing of their friend, but give credit to them for showing up and putting on spirited performances in honoring their fallen family member, and continuing some key stories that in for the Payback event. Tough night, like I said, but a beautiful one that not only celebrated the life of Wyatt, but also honored the late great Terry Funk. Under these unfortunate circumstances, WWE rose to the occasion, and the performers, the wrestlers, the superstars, whatever you want to call them, delivered a strong episode. And yeah, I'll conclude this episode by saying thank you, Bray Wyatt. Thank you for your creativity that made me want to tune in each week to see what you would do next. Thank you for the Firefly Funhouse. Thank you for the Fiend. Thank you for the Firefly Funhouse match. And just, again, overall, thank you. It was an honor to watch your career in WWE. And with that will conclude this episode of WWE Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like button down below.